Hey there, this is Michael Blanc, and if you're interested in apartment building investing, you are in the right place. Today, I want to focus on your fears. So, if you're stuck or not getting started because you're afraid of getting started with multifamily investing, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, when I drill down on the fear, I'm going to sit you down and interview you like I would maybe one of my coaching students. Sometimes what happens is that it turns out people are actually afraid of succeeding. Now, this doesn't make a lot of sense, but hear me out on this here. So here's what I mean. The conversation goes, well, they're not taking action. Why are you not taking action? Well, it turns out, well, what if I get a deal under contract and I don't have the money raised yet? I don't have the money raised yet, and I don't even know what to do. I mean, and so they play this out in their head that they get to the point where someone actually accepts their offer, and now they're like, oh, now what do I do? I'm going to now fail because I've initially succeeded. And this is a reason, this is a mistake for at least two reasons, right? And normally they're related, the fears are related to getting something under contract, now what? That's really where it comes down to. But this is a reason for the mistake for two reasons. Number one is that they underestimate the value of finding a good deal. All right, they're thinking in their mind, oh my gosh, I got this under contract and I don't have the money raised. What do I do? What they're skipping or missing is the fact that they have a deal under contract has inherent value. Okay, even if you can't close on it yourself, it's so difficult to find good deals that the fact that you have something under contract or maybe you have a letter of intent signed is extremely valuable to someone who's actually qualified to buy. There's a lot of qualified people out there looking for a multifamily. Their biggest struggle right now is not money, it's finding the deals. Okay, and because of that, if you were to bring them a deal that's analyzed well and it's pre-negotiated, meaning you have maybe at least verbal agreement or you have some kind of maybe it's an off-market deal. If you have that, someone's going to pay you to take that contract off from you. And I've seen payments range from a percent of the deal being paid 3% like a broker, splitting an acquisition fee, giving you a slice of the general partnership. So there's different ways, or simply paying a simple referral fee, a flat fee. There are all ways to make tens of $1,000s on referring a multifamily deal, which is really cool. So never underestimate the value of a pre-negotiated deal. That's mistake number one. So even if you get to that point, it still has a lot of value. Number two, and this is a universal rule, you should always walk through open doors until they close. You should never be concerned or worried about an open door, okay? Never. And so in my 11 years of being a full-time entrepreneur, this is one of the lessons I've learned is that if the universe opens up doors, let's say you put in something out there, I want to change my life with multifamily and I want to be retired or whatever in 3 to 5 years, you put that out there and universe responds by opening a door, maybe putting people in your path that you're kind of just scratch your head going, what a coincidence this is, and then you pull back from that. Okay, it's kind of like a sin, I mean, who are you, to shut the door on the universe? I mean, honestly, really, the door opens, you walk through it. So that's the second reason here. Now, here's the solution for this. I have two solutions to this problem. Number one, I call the worst case scenario, and I'll get to solution number two in a second. But the worst case scenario goes like this: you basically think about what can happen. What's the worst that can happen? And normally when I find is when I articulate this, I write it down and I look at because I'm a worrier at heart, right? I go through that 101 possible things that go wrong, which cause this to go wrong and that to go wrong. And if you write these things down, you look at it, you're like, this is ridiculous. The probability of that happening is like zero. Why am I even worried about this? But here's the worst case scenario because I'm going to paint you a picture that really ain't bad. Okay, number one is this. I think what you're really concerned about is you get something under contract and you look like an idiot and you probably lose a bunch of money in the process. Okay, so here's what happens. So let's say you get a really good deal, but you need to raise money. You don't have the money raised yet. Maybe you have some prospects or something, but you don't have the money raised yet. So let me show you what the timeline is. Number one is it takes time to negotiate a letter of intent. But let's say you get a letter of intent signed, you're freaking out, like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? Now you have sometimes 7 to 10 days to actually do a purchase contract, right? So in this time of purchase contract, you're like this, in worst case, you just don't put the purchase contract down, right? Good grief, what's the big deal? But likely, let's say you keep moving forward and you actually get it to sing, you get the purchase contract. And now you're like, oh my gosh, still freaking out. I'm freaking out. What happens now? Now, remember, you have a due diligence period, normally 21 to 30 days. In that due diligence period, the wording is such that you can get out of that for any reason whatsoever. Okay, I mean, you can, right? So there's no obligation. You get your deposit back. Everything's good. You say, look, I don't want to do this deal anymore, or I'm not in position to, whatever. You just send them a contract termination, and you're done. Okay, and you're done. That's kind of like the worst case scenario. Okay, that's like the worst case scenario is you simply get out of it before the end of due diligence. Now, my advice to you is to let the broker know why you're getting out in a reason that allows you to save your reputation. Because what you don't want to do is develop a reputation of someone who doesn't perform. But there's normally something that you can come up with, even if it's like, you're 14 days into it and you say, look, I don't think I'm going to be able to raise the funds. I don't waste your seller's time anymore to kind of pull this thing off. So I'm just going to terminate the contract. I'm going to get my ducks in a row and I'll be back. And everybody kind of goes, I respect that. And that's really what you want to do. So really, the worst case scenario is really not that bad. And in this time, while you're raising money, let's say it's not looking good. In that time, you can find another buyer. You can go, network, go to Bigger Pockets, network with me and find someone who's looking for deals in that area, that size. And while you're doing this, while you're trying to raise money and it's not really working, you find a buyer. And the buyer now takes over, okay? And to me, that's like the worst case. Plan A is you do it yourself. Plan B is you find someone to take the deal off or partner with. And C is that you terminate the contract, right? So in other words, you're not going to look like an idiot and you are not going to lose a bunch of money. Now, chances are it'll probably be plan A or plan B, okay? But plan C ain't so bad either, so don't worry about it too much. The lesson is the following, is do the worst case scenario. And number two, continue taking action. I have found that if I can get someone simply to take action, they're afraid because they're of succeeding in this case or even failing. I said, okay, don't worry about that right now. Why don't you do this next action? Why don't you analyze 5 deals for me? Okay, can you do that? Okay, yes, I can do that. I can do that. And just take small action. Okay, you don't have to project what's out 2-3 months out in the future. Why do that? Why just take action, okay? Just continue taking action. And that, in general, is the best solution to addressing any kind of fear, is to take action. It doesn't have to be massive action, okay? Massive action usually implies that you have a high degree of confidence. Let's say you don't have that, then take small action. So anyway, hope that helps address some of those early fears and, just do the worst case scenario exercise and continue taking small action to overcome those fears and become successful with multifamily investing or with real estate in general. All right, and speaking of a great way to get started is to download my free ebook, which is called The Secret to Raising Money to Buy Your First Apartment Building. It's all about raising money and essentially the first step in your learning process. And the way you do that is you can go to themichaelblank.com. That's T-H-E, Michael, BLANK.com/ebook. You can also grab it via text message. And you text the word secret book to 44222, 44222, and you get it via text message also. If you have questions, the best place to ask me is via Ask Mike, which is themichaelblank.com/ask. You can grab the free ebook while you're there. Anyway, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to learn with me today. You take care, and I will see you next time. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I want to leave you with 3 next things to do. I'll give you a quick tour of those, and I'll tell you how to do them. Step number 1 is to download my free ebook, The Secret to Raising Money to Buy Your First Apartment Building Deal. It is an awesome ebook full of tips for raising money and how to do that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I put out new videos all the time, and I'd hate for you to miss it. And number 3 is to watch the next video in line. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on the first thing, which is to download the ebook. That'll open up a new tab. The video will stop playing. You're going to get the ebook, and then go back to this video, and then click on number 2, right, which is to subscribe on the channel. That'll open a new tab, and then you can go back to the third one and just click on the next video in line. All right, so hope you find that helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.